Welcome back to Carmen Conversations, and this is the final episode of Season 6, and this is all about driving success through mindset, and it's a real topical one, this one, and I'm looking forward to it. Again, I'm joined by Rachel. Welcome, Rach.
Hello, thank you.
Let's talk mindset.
Wow, there we go. So many people may or may not know that you do start every morning meeting with a question. What is that question, Luke?
Well, this has been going on for a long time, so we go back to point of difference, and I designed I call it a sales meeting. It's a meeting, it's got multiple people in it. It's filled with sales, business managers, aftermarket, some admin, some service every day. And this was all around not to have a meeting about anything in particular, but it was around to get the mindset right and the energy right and the levels of where they're at before they walk out of that room to be ready to go. And I started this, I reckon, back in maybe 2002 is when I first started it. And the one thing that we've always done is dinner and beverage. What did you have for dinner last night, and what was your beverage? And we've done it, and you see a lot of new people coming in. What are you doing? Like, what's that matter? You know, and it's not so much about, you know, and a lot of people thought, is it about the diet that I'm on? Is it about the wrong foods? And no. This is just about a general demeanour. And, you know, sometimes I can have up to 25 people sit in that room in the morning, and you can see it. And I'm big on body language and how to get the most out of people, and very mindset driven. And to create the right mindset, you need to have the right energy and you need to have the right focus. And I won't lie, like, everyone carries dramas, everyone's got things going on in their life, you know, and sometimes they're overwhelmed, they're overworked, they've got a bit going on their plate, they've got a busy social life, you know, there could be anything. So I can't expect people to turn up every day and not be able to have that, you know, thought going on in their minds, you know, and some people don't have the power to block that out and say, right, I'm going to bank that and come back to it at 5:30. And which isn't a problem, you know, I have no drama with that, like but it's how you handle it. And there's two ways to go about it. You could either let them sit in the meeting amongst 20 odd other people and be in a mood or be a little bit standoffish and not wanting to interact, and that could create a bad vibe. Or you could turn it around a little bit, acknowledge it, but keep moving forward. So there's two ways that you look at it. One of it is you don't give it the airtime at all, which isn't really helping anyone apart from the people that are associated in the room. But then there's that elephant in the room of, hang on, there's something going on there, because it's quite obvious. Or by saying, you know, like, hang on, what was for your dinner and bev? And, you know, and they might not be quite there, but you're interactive with them. You're not excluding them from the meeting. You're still keeping them there, but you're banking that and going, right, okay, after the meeting, hey, Rach, you got 2 minutes? I just want to have a catch up. You know, where are we at? What's up? Oh, no, I've just got this going on. Yeah, okay, well, that's all good, but we've got to work through it now. Remember, your reaction and how you look from here and your body language is a reflection of what's going on in your mind. And does it make you approachable? Does it make you like people are standoffish? Does it create a vibe of people wanting to talk about what's going on? Oh, did you see Rachel looked a bit upset? Whatever it may be. So I'm not saying we've got to mask those emotions, but we've got to actually address them and not just walk around them. And that's what we do. It's player management. You know, so it's been something we've done for a long time, and it's been very effective. And you hear some crazy dinners and beverages. It's a
relationship building, really.
It is, actually. It is. And the other thing I like about it a lot is people's structure and routine. I'm very routine driven, but there are some people that it is gold. Their routine is something else, and you can see they're very regimented in what they do. And, you know, they have the same menu each week or bi-weekly. And, you know, we've mixed it up over the years, and it could be, you know, your dinner beverage, or maybe we mix it up a little bit with breakfast, or what's your current favourite movie or your all-time favourite song. And just to create that little bit of mood, it's very quick fire. You go around the dealership and around the room, and at the end of it, then we move on to our points around the meeting with an agenda. And I would dare say that 99.9% of the time that people walk out of that room buzzing, you know, because I'm generally the most energetic person in the room, but I build everyone's energy up to the same level, and they walk out of there ready to go. So they're able to, with that training, it's a training that they don't know it's actually happening. It's a subliminal training session.
Yeah.
Because they're knowing how to bank their emotions a little bit. They're knowing how to communicate. You can see it in their confidence. And, you know, we've had some people over the years that have actually been a little bit nervous in public speaking.
Yeah.
A little bit nervous in a room like that, be able to voice what they have, and we've managed to overcome that, and without me even knowing, you know, and to build a lot of confidence with people, and also people probably from a health point of view is people are mindful of what they're doing in dinner beverage.
Definitely,
so
yeah.
they're cautious of what they have the night before, and think, oh no, I can't have that 2 nights in a row.
Kind of like an accountability piece without even knowing.
It is. So it's been a good thing that's worked for me for a long time. So I'm not about to change it anytime soon.
No, that's awesome. I remember the first time that I heard it, I was definitely like a bit taken back, like what's going on here? But it all makes sense now. So thanks for explaining that.
It does. Yeah, I had one this morning. Was just I was driving to work thinking about some goals and some personal goals of mine that. That I'm the 3/4 of the way through, and my end of the year was my target, and I thought actually I might address that with the team this morning, and I just went to dinner, Bev, and what personal goals they had, and did they have some personal goals set to achieve before the end of the year, and it was some good vibes and good feels in that meeting room this morning, some solid goals that have been set and some accomplishments, and there's a couple of people that have already nailed their goals already. And moved on to the next one. So I'm very productive.
That's great. And I feel like it's sort of like hearing others, succession sort of motivates others too.
Yeah, well, it's just a little driver, isn't it? It's that's little driver there that they're hearing, and people always want to keep up with others, and people are driven by others, and people are motivated by other people's success, and there's been a lot of time, and I'm very open. I've got an open door policy with my staff to that I want to help them grow, and give advice around what they should be doing or shouldn't be doing when it comes to financial, buying a house or whatever it may be. And, you never want to push people outside of their comfort zone to the point where it's high risk, but you want to take them out of that zone of being comfortable to get a reward, and sometimes they don't know how to do that. Yeah. So you give that guidance. And I think by having that level of transparency and that open sort of relationship where we talk about these things makes people feel comfortable, so.
That's it. And it just kind of comes back to that support piece around building a great team and showing great leadership. And I guess, again, that's going to help with your team retention too, because they feel comfortable.
Staff love it. They enjoy that morning meeting. They enjoy that support. They enjoy, probably when they're feeling a little bit flat, that their energy is lifted by that general demeanour, that conversation. Some of the humour, some of the sledge, some of the banter that happens, and there's some good communication pieces around topical items, that might come into it, and debatable items that we talk about, and some things that we've spoken about there. We've gone through new territory together around COVID, how to deal with COVID. I was doing my daily COVID updates, and I was glad that because I hold these meetings so regularly across the dealership, it wasn't uncomfortable or awkward for anyone to sit in that meeting and have that level of conversation where some people thought they were going to lose their job, some people thought they were going to be unemployed. But because they know that level of transparency and they're comfortable in that approach, that I was able to have that meeting to them, and they felt that reassurance straight away, and it wasn't, hang on, I'm calling a meeting, and everyone's like, oh my God, what's happening? We're having a meeting. I don't necessarily like the meeting about having a meeting, but it's more of a gathering together in the morning to set the right mood. But what it does post that is huge. It's huge,
definitely.
So yeah.
It's team building, it's motivating, it's engaging the team. I know that you have a lot of, practical reminders around the dealership, whether it be quotes or notepads that you make for the team. Is there anything else that you sort of do to drive their motivation?
Well, we've got the motivational sign when you walk through the door. I think it's very important that when you walk through the door every day, you look at a sign that that drives you, and it's a gentle reminder. We run a gratitude jar that we'll often fill and say, what are we grateful for. But our meeting room's also very, very transparent when there's a lot of KPIs, visible KPIs, that are there purposely for them to look at, where you can't escape it, where you're sitting in this room, that are general reminders that you add the two together. You've got what you're grateful for, your motivational sign as you walk through the door is a general reminder, but when you sit in there, it becomes relative, and you're surrounded by that, and you're surrounded by success, and you're surrounded by driven, motivated people. That's the best you can have, But I think what goes in hand with that is that those general reminders are everywhere you look, and they're everywhere you look by the people because of the way they portray that in their conversation. But also little one-liners that my staff might deliver, that I might deliver. There's a little notification or a little note on the front of their book, that is that general reminder where it's always there. So there's no time for that complacency or no time to kind of sit back, because it's always there. And consistency, if it's always there, it's at the front of mind, isn't it? And these general reminders aren't there as a in your face. It's just that gentle reminder that it's there and to be mindful of it, you know. And sometimes when your mind's ticking a million miles an hour and you're thinking about multiple things, it can be just enough to look at and go, whoop, back, I'm back, you know. So, but the general feel around the dealership gives you that, even if you are a little bit flat, or you're not probably just that super driven, it's hard not to be when you're standing in the showroom or when you're standing amongst the peers, because it's pretty energetic.
That's it, yeah. So we have touched on this season about your famous NRL analogies. I know they make a appearance most mornings. Do you have a favourite?
Oh, gee.
I feel like they just come to you naturally.
Well, they do come to me,
Yeah.
and it's just not NRL. I use a lot of UFC analogies, things that are close to my heart. I don't think there's a favourite in there. I just like to keep everything relative and take it away from cars and from work, and make people accountable to think, well, hang on, your actions here are also the actions that you would do or would act on at home, or in a social situation.
Yeah.
And, you know, and some of those, they need to be highlighted sometimes, because they'd be a bit disappointed in themselves, you know, with that self-respect and that self-drive. You're on show 24/7, and, you know, when we're talking about personal growth and professional growth, you've got to portray these things not just within work hours but outside of work hours, and that should become second nature. So I think what's relative to me is that I keep those one-liners all the time, which are external to cars, and yeah, they come naturally. And when you put on the spot to think about it, I can't come up with any just off the top of my head. But
I should have pre-warned you. I'm sorry.
They're pretty common, but yeah. I also, you know, I think I reflect back to the most is around. I've got a 6 guide in the meeting room where some of my key disciplines, and I think the one I refer back to the most around that is remember where you come from, and that's big for me, just to also keep me grounded, but remind me of how I got to where I am by just appreciating all the little things. And probably that leads into that one there, is if you appreciate the little things, the big things will come. And part of that is also that you roll into is attention to detail. And I always, and this is probably one of my faves now I'm talking out loud, is the keeping your backyard tidy. And when it comes to attention to detail and presentation, I'm very big on I love hosing my concrete, but is yard presentation and doing the little things right, you know. And it come down to an analogy I use around mowing your lawn. You know, you do your lawn, you do your edges, you might blow down the grass clippings and hose down afterwards, but you know, you take a bit of a look around, and I see it all the time. You could be driving down the street and you see someone that's mowed without the catcher. You know, got these clumps of grass everywhere, or someone that's mowed without doing their edges, and their edges are 2 inches high, but the grass is mowed. You know, you look at that and you think the attention to detail that's put into it, and you break that back down into the dealership. And I talk about that with, you know, our day-to-day operation. Your attention to detail needs to be on point. So if you're at home on the weekend and you're mowing and you're kind of like, oh, geez, I've had enough of this, it's bloody hot, I want to go for a swim, I have a beer or whatever it might be, I'll do the edges another time. Stop and think about it. Think, no, we've spoken about this, attention to detail. You know, you do things properly, because you're never going to come back and do it. You know, so these are the little analogies I try and use, and then you know, you might resonate all of a sudden with 80% of the room. They go, actually, yep, I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that, you know. And you know, so and another big one that I use a little bit is that is how to control a mood when you look at the power of mindset. And you know, and this can be in day to day. It could be anyone, and you can see that someone might be in a bit of a mood and they're niggling for an argument. The instant thing to do is to bite, isn't it? You know, you want to bite, you know, but what are you going to achieve by that? You know, what's the actual achievement? You enter an argument and that's on. You know, you've said some things against each other you don't actually mean, and you know, and the outcome is that not much. You know, I'm not handing out a certificate afterwards saying that was the rudest thing I heard or the most hurtful thing, and it creates a lot of negative energy and unapplied time. But that comes down to the individual again, doesn't it? You know, you can see that someone might have a bit on their mind or a bit uptight or whatever it might be. Be mindful, be respectful of it, but also remove yourself from that situation. You know, and again, that positive energy and that good vibe and that real positive attitude will overcome that negativity and let that person organically come along with you, you know. And I tell you, it might be an hour or two of just a little bit of shaky road, But the end result is that there's there's good vibes that are from it. So that's another thing that we focus heavily on within the staff, within the morning meetings, and that positivity. And again, I don't do a lot of training when it comes to product. I do a lot of training when it comes to mindset.
And people.
And all on people, because it's about that, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's all about the mindset, the reading of body language, reading the people, having an understanding of people and how to treat people and how you would like to be treated. And there's nothing wrong with just being nice,
And
It'll
when you
just
think
come
about
so
it,
far.
it's quite basic.
Very basic. Like I said in
Yeah.
every episode. Very, very simple game plan.
Just
Very
to
simple
execute
game
it
plan.
well.
Execution's right. But the simple game plan, and everyone knows it, it's very basic. It's very, very simple. And, and the more you overcomplicate the most unnecessary things, we all look at each other going, oh, I'm so confused. But a third party coming and look at it and going, what are you so confused about? It's pretty simple. 2 + 2 is 4. But you get caught up in the battle as opposed to looking at it from the outside. So, again, it's mindset, and it's something that's helped me a long way. It's helped my staff really develop, and especially some of my leadership group, the growth that I've seen from some of my management in their mindset has been unbelievable. And watching them grow as a person, but watching them personally grow, it's amazing to watch. It is really amazing to watch. So.
And you should be so proud that you've able to help them.
Very proud. And like I said, when someone asks me what motivates me the most, that's it. And there's no better prize than that, there's going to be nothing that will overcome that or beat that. It's something that I'll hold very close to my heart. So.
Yeah, nice. Well, thanks for that, Luke. That was a really great insight.
Thank you. Well, I hope you enjoyed that season around Cars Community Culture. I certainly did. And if you'd like to know more or reach out for a bit of a chat to get a bit of an understanding around anything, follow the links in the description below.